Yes.
Do most of your customers put some size constraint on that?
Mentor does not. I don't know of any of our other customers that have a size constraint on that. There is a practical limit with Mentor of how large a file you can upload, and it has simply to do with your bandwidth. Mentor, I believe, has a 5-minute timeout on the upload form. So if it doesn't upload in 5 minutes, it will fail and timeout. I have seen files in Mentor well over 500 megabytes. So somebody had some really fast bandwidth. Usually you can get 150 to 200 megabytes in, but it will take a little bit of time depending on your bandwidth. Most files that people would upload are in the 1 to 50 megabyte range. If you do have trouble uploading a file, if it's like a video, you can always chop it up into pieces. YouTube is basically sets a limit of about 10 minutes of video that you can upload unless you have special access. So you can always chop it into pieces and upload multiple files. So that's a way around that problem.
So
Okay.
we would really be limited, Kurt, by what our bandwidth is at college?
The bandwidth of the computer where you are working at that time. You could be doing this at home. You could be doing it at Wagner. My guess is Wagner's going to have pretty good bandwidth, probably a little bit. I mean, it's sort of hard to tell really nowadays. I mean, if you have a cable at home, cable's usually pretty fast. Although upload speeds tend to be slower than download speeds, whereas at Wagner you may have faster throughput on upload. But for most purposes, I don't know what kinds of media files you might. I mean, it would really be media files. But anything under 100 megabytes isn't going to really be a problem. So
Okay.
yeah.
One other question, and I'm sure everyone else knows the answer to this, but is there any issues with copyright in, for example, if someone's reading a chapter, uploading that chapter?
Well, by default, the data that's submitted to Mentor is not public. Um, and for reporting purposes, I don't see any copyright issues. Um, if you want to make that public, that's between you and your copyright conscience. If you want to make that public, but we don't manage those issues. So Wagner may have some issues with that. I don't know. I don't know what policies there are. But yeah,
Thank you very much.
right. So speaking of public, there's two ways that data that's in Mentor can be made public, and by public I mean available to anybody on the internet. One way is the public CV, and what this so you can see here by default. This is set to no. So when a new account is created in Mentor, the default is that the CV is not public. So you have to actually go in and enable that public CV. And there's two URLs that Mentor creates. One is an embedded URL. Kathy, I'm just going to mute you a little bit because there's some noise coming from your shuffling on the desk there. So unless you stop shuffling, then I can. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about the folks who are going to listen to the recording, but they won't see it. I do. Anyway, there are two URLs that Mentor generates. One is a Mentor framed URL. So what this will do is it will take the area below the line, and it will have the Mentor header up here. And at the top, it's going to say Wagner College. There won't be any navigation links because they're not logged into Mentor. The embedded link would be for embedding your CV in a frame in some other web server. So you could put that link in as the URL for a frame, and so all that Mentor is going to provide is what's below the line, and the assumption is that the web server calling that link has all of the formatting around it. So you have sort of two ways to display that CV. Now, you may not want to display everything on your CV. You may not want to put in your years of service or date of appointment and so forth, or even certain publications you may want to not display. So there's a setup page, and everything on the CV has a checkbox. So if I don't want my picture showing on the public CV, I uncheck it, save it, and it will not display. If I don't want to give them a print to PDF, if I don't want my years of service, and basically you can decide entirely what appears. So if I don't want this particular publication or presentation to show up, I just uncheck the box. So whatever is checked will show up on the public CV. So you have complete control if you do make things public of what is displayed publicly, and you have control over whether or not your CV is displayed publicly. Now, I'm going to skip down here to faculty web profile, which is another way that the data in Mentor can be displayed in a public domain. The purpose of a faculty web profile is the following. My guess is if I go to your Wagner College website, I drill down on the business department, I'm going to find someplace a list of faculty, and there might be on there, a link from your name to a profile. And that profile, you may have access to edit it, or it may be Wagner College webmaster edits that. But it may list some of your publications and your research interests and what you teach and stuff like that. So this is designed to feed data from Mentor to such a web profile. So what you would do is you get the same exact interface to select which items are available in the web in the web profile, and then your web programmers would access this data through what's called web services. So if you know anything about how web servers talk to one another, they talk to one another through a web service API. And we have an API that will call the picture and the name, will call your background information, will call your employment information, will call your publications, will call your presentations and so forth. So you would go in and select those that you want to be available, and then your web programmers would do the work behind the scenes to query Mentor for that data for your faculty profile. So obviously you can't make that data appear automatically on your web server, on your Wagner web server. That's a work that has to be managed by the programmers there. So there's some policy issues there, and we'll have that conversation eventually when we get to that point, and obviously work with your programmers. So let me go back up here to summary reports, and this one's kind of fun. So I'm just going to take the tenure track faculty and in the philosophy department, and you'll see here is a list of all of the publication types and the counts, and the same with presentations and so forth, and grants. So you can look up in a given department and see this information. If I want to go to list by type, then I have to select a particular type. In this case, I'll do publications, again with the tenure track faculty. And you'll see here that there's a whole list of publications. These starts with articles and then goes to chapters and so forth. So there's some interesting ways to sort of report out the data. You can constrain it by date, start date, end date. You can do publications, grants, etc. This list of faculty ranks is something that gets set up by the institution. So you might have a different way of naming your ranks. So. We do have two export, well actually there's other export ways to export the data, but we can export the data to RTF or to HTML. Either of way, RTF is something that will open directly in Word, for instance, so you can get your publications right into Word. So if you want to then play with them and sort of customize your CV in various ways, you can do so. We do support a couple of formats, output formats. So I have Mentor set right now to APA. And I believe that's pretty standard for the business world is to use APA formatting. These can be defined by the client institution if you want to create your own output format, that is Wagner College or the business folks. Yeah, so that's the formats. And then I'll just show you this as an example of some of the custom reports that we do, just so you can get a sense, because we're happy to work with our clients on custom reports. If you've ever done an NIH or an NSF grant, they have very specific forms for biographical information. So this is the NIH BioSketch form. And this actually is exactly what it looks like on the template that they provide. It's a PDF template they provide. And you can see here Mentors automatically populated some of the information. And then there's a place for a personal statement. These BioSketch forms get filled out per grant. So each grant is going to have a different personal statement and so forth. And then you can select your employment history and academic honors that you want to have appear in the form. You can select which publications in these categories you want to have appear and so forth. So just gives you an idea of the kind of custom reporting we can do. And then this prints to PDF, and when it does, it looks exactly like the BioSketch form that is defined by NIH. So. So I'll give you a sense of what the chair can see, so how administrators can look at this data. So I'll go to chair, and in this case I'll pick on department, and we'll go to the faculty page. And so you've got a list of faculty here, and the chair has access to your CV, a 3-year report, a 5-year report, which is used by accreditation agencies for schools of business, the annual reports, detailed enrollment summary, so forth. The chair can edit some values on your user record and so forth. The chair has access to that data. There is in Mentor an evaluation system. I haven't yet talked to Don about whether he wants to use this or not. So what it does is it allows for some more flexible reporting of data. It takes, for instance, your publication data, and then there might be some text fields that are defined and ask you to answer certain questions. It has a system that asks faculty to define goals one year and then report on progress on those goals the next. It has the ability to define different files that you might upload, include survey questions and so forth. And it's broken down by teaching, scholarship, and service as well, but it provides a little bit more flexibility in terms of the kinds of additional data that you might want to provide in the context of annual reporting or tenure review and so forth. But I haven't had that conversation yet with Don, so I'm not sure whether that will be in use or not for you. So that's the sort of long version of faculty reporting. Do you have questions?
One question. I'm just thinking as we go through this. So as a user, I would be able to look at all the publications of all the other department members
From the summary reports page, you can get access. Now, we have a switch. This can be turned off if the school, the institution doesn't want to share that data. But for publications, I mean, by kind of definition, it's public, so most institutions have that turned on. And certainly, the search engine allows you to do a search, a keyword search, to find, faculty who are working on some topic area, because you may be surprised,
The other thing I was thinking of, and you mentioned this briefly, course evaluation, student evaluation.
hmm
And if I'm looking at my own evaluation and trying to assess how good that is in order to benchmark it against other faculty members, would that be confidential and therefore not accessible? If something bad show up, would I get
So the course evaluation is simply an upload. So it's simply uploading a report. Our assumption is that you have some student evaluation of teaching system in place, and that system is going to provide you with that data. So this is not we don't import that data into Mentor. It just allows you to upload your report. Now,
If I wanted to look at my report and say, gee, I don't know whether this is good or bad, could I say, look at Kathy's report?
no. Only the chair or an authorized administrator can look at all of the other data. The scholarship data is kind of semi-public because it's but the teaching data, the service data, all of that is private. So only the chair or a department administrator or a school administrator would have access to that. We do have a course evaluation system in Mentor. I've never had a conversation with Donna about it. He may not even know that it's there. But in that case, we have a variety of switches that control who can access what, summary data and so forth. But yeah. Other questions? Okay. Well, then I'll thank you for your participation today. I believe we have another session scheduled on Monday the 21st for course management. I could be wrong about that, but let me just, Monday the 21st, so at 10 a.m. And we'll record that one as well. So that if you can't make that. And obviously there's going to be some training sessions. So this was just designed to give you who are present and those who are not present going to look at this as a video, just an overview of what the system is. And then once we have data in Mentor, we need to get all of you folks loaded into Mentor and student registrations. Then we'll start doing some training with you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today, and obviously we'll be in touch. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.